All right, diving in today, we've got something uh, pretty special, I think. iHEART Veterans.
Yeah, supporting our vets, but in a way you don't always see.
Right, not just, the usual. There's the digital memorials, sharing stories. They even have kindness programs.
Blending the old ways of honoring service with, well, frankly, with what today's world uses,
Yep.
tech.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really smart how they've thought of everything. Like take their virtual memorial park.
Oh, interesting.
It's not a physical place. Yeah. Families can create pages online for veterans who've passed on.
Makes sense. I mean, younger generations, they live online practically. That might mean more to them than a headstone somewhere.
And they call it a sacred digital space where legacies endure, a timeless tribute.
I like that. Sacred digital space, that's hits on something, how we remember people is changing.
Yeah, and there's this line on their site really got to me. The iHeart Veterans Virtual Memorial Park, where heroes never fade and memories never dim.
Powerful. And it's true in a way a physical memorial can't be. This park, anyone can visit it anytime, anywhere. Those legacies really do live on.
And then they have the Veteran Stories Initiative. It's giving veterans a way to tell their own stories.
Directly from the source.
Yeah.
Important, right. Every service member's experience is different.
Exactly. And they're collecting these stories in all kinds of ways. Blogs, podcasts, they even make documentaries. The goal is to bring out what they call untold heroism.
Yeah, learning from history, it's always talked about, but what better way than hearing it right from the people who lived it?
And the way they talk about these stories, raw, unfiltered glimpses, they call them, lives marked by courage, hope, and determination.
It's not just the big picture stuff, the battles and all that. It's the human side of it. The feelings, the little moments, they matter.
Right. It gets you thinking about the cost of war, how strong people can be, the impact on their whole lives.
And it sounds like iHeart Veterans is really putting in the effort to spread those stories. That's something you got to admire.
Oh, absolutely. But it's not just looking back either. They have this program, VetKind. It's all about encouraging people to be kind to veterans.
I saw that, yeah. Putting actions behind the words.
Right. They talk about how these small acts of kindness can really make a difference, create a profound ripple effect, they say. Ignite the spark of hope and camaraderie.
It's easy to say thank you for your service, but doing something, even something little that shows you really get it.
Right, like buying a veteran a coffee, helping them out with something, even just listening to their story.
It makes them feel like they belong, like they're seen, like what they did matters.
It builds a community, reminds them they're not alone.
Which, coming back to civilian life, that can be tough. They need that.
And then, speaking of well-being, they've got this program, Mission Mindfulness. It's for mental and emotional health.
So they're covering all the bases, really. Not just the practical help, but the inner stuff, too.
Right. Online yoga, meditation, stuff like that. Specifically for veterans.
Yeah.
And, get this, the money they make from it, the profits, they use it to support their other programs.
So it's self-sustaining in a way. Really smart. Shows they're thinking long-term.
And, a lot of veterans struggle with mental health after what they've been through. This shows they get that.
Absolutely. The effects, they don't just disappear when you leave service. Resources for that's huge.
It's like they're setting a whole new standard for how to support veterans the right way.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Meeting their needs, but in a way that's, I don't know, it feels very human, very thoughtful.
Yeah, very. Makes you wonder, what will they come up with next? They seem to be always pushing the boundaries.
I think we're just seeing the beginning. Definitely a group to keep an eye on.
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's focus on some of the specifics, like their storytelling, how they use tech to make those voices heard. That's fascinating to me.
Absolutely. They're leading the way there for sure. Let's dive into that next. It's really their commitment to trying new things that gets me, not just doing what's always been done,
Yeah, they're not afraid to experiment. And like we were saying, that storytelling, it's not just collecting stories, it's getting them out there.
Making those connections, helping people understand on both sides. Civilians who haven't served, they need to hear this.
And they're using all these different ways to do it. Blogs, we mentioned the podcasts, documentaries. It's like a whole world they're building.
Remember that phrasing they used to describe the stories? Raw, unfiltered glimpses, it was.
Yeah, and it's true. It's not just, rah-rah military stuff. It's the real deal, what it's actually like to serve.
The emotional part of it, that gets lost sometimes, I think.
Definitely. Makes you realize every person who serves, they have a whole life, a whole story.
And those stories, they need to be saved, not just for now, but for people to look back on years from now.
iHEART Veterans is giving them a way to do that, to speak for themselves. And this is where the technology comes in. It's not just telling stories around a campfire, you know. They're using all the latest stuff.
Right. Social media, online platforms. I even heard they're looking into some AI stuff.
It's about reaching as many people as possible, breaking down those barriers so anyone can hear these stories, whether they've got a military background or not.
Because when you hear these stories, it changes you. Makes you see things differently, more empathy, more understanding. That's what we need.
You know, we should mention the founder, Frank Julian. He's a veteran himself, disabled vet. And you can tell this organization, it means the world to him.
More than just a job, yeah. He wants to make a difference, and you see that in everything they do.
The memorial park, those stories they collect, even that VetKind program. It all comes from a good place. Respect for veterans.
And people respond to that. It's not just another charity. It's real. It's human.
And, you know, speaking of new stuff, I hear they're about to announce something really big, a whole new way of doing things.
Oh, tell me more. I'm intrigued.
Let's just say it could change how veterans' stories are told forever. Give them a voice, a global audience like they've never had before.
This I gotta hear. Sounds pretty amazing.
Well, you'll just have to wait for the big reveal.
You got me hooked now. But before we get there, I want to talk about something else I noticed about iHeart Veterans, how they're building a community.
Oh yeah, that's crucial. It's not just about services, it's about veterans connecting with each other.
Because coming back to civilian life, it can be lonely. They need people who get it.
And iHeart Veterans, they're doing a lot to make those connections happen. Like, remember that VetKind thing we talked about?
Yeah, getting people to actually do something nice for veterans.
Right. It's fostering that appreciation, making veterans feel like they're part of something.
Little things add up. Having a chat, lending a hand, just listening to them talk.
It makes a difference. It shows them they're not forgotten, that people care.
And they don't just connect veterans with each other. They connect them with resources, help they might need.
Jobs, education, mental health stuff, financial help.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there.
One-stop shop, almost.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, they can point you in the right direction.
And it's all about giving them the tools to build a good life, not just a handout, but helping them get back on their feet for good.
That's important, that distinction. It's about respect, empowering them.
And that's what makes iHeart Veterans so special, I think. They're not just thinking about today. They're thinking about the future.
Long-term vision, yeah. And it's working. You can see the impact. It's impressive.
So to wrap this part up, I think we can agree, iHeart Veterans, they're setting a new standard for how we take care of those who served our country.
Absolutely. A model for others to follow, giving veterans hope and showing the rest of us how to appreciate them the right way.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
That big announcement. Remember, changing how veteran stories are told.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget that. Lay it on me. What's this game changer?
Get ready for this. iHeart Veterans is launching AI podcasting services.
Whoa. Okay, that is new, like next level stuff. But how does AI even make a podcast?
So it's really cool. They're using this advanced AI, and veterans can basically tell their stories to it.
Okay.
And the AI, it takes that and turns it into like a finished podcast episode.
So even if someone's never, touched a microphone before.
Exactly. No technical stuff to worry about. Just tell your story and boom, you've got a podcast.
That's going to open so many doors. So many veterans, they have these incredible stories, but getting them out there, it's tough.
And this makes it so easy. Anyone can be a podcaster now. Think about the reach they'll have sharing those stories with the world.
I can already see it. Veterans who maybe they don't like public speaking or they don't know how to make a podcast, now they can.
It's perfect for iHeart Veterans too. It's all about those voices, bridging that gap between military and civilian.
Giving them a platform, literally. It's like, here's a microphone, tell us what you've seen, what you know.
And who knows, maybe this will inspire a whole new wave of veteran podcasters.
Yeah.
Change how we understand, what they go through.
It's smart, thinking ahead like they always do. That commitment to innovation and to storytelling, it all comes together.
And Frank Julian, gotta hand it to him, the guy's a visionary. Building something truly special here.
Not just an organization, it's changing the whole conversation. How we support our veterans, how we listen to them.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what do you hope people listening take away from this?
I hope they realize iHeart Veterans, they're the real deal. They're doing amazing things, and they deserve all the support they can get.
Yeah, and I hope they go check them out.
Yeah.
The website, Everything they're doing, even if it's just a small donation or telling someone about them, it all matters.
And to all the veterans out there listening, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your stories are important, and iHeart Veterans, they're making sure the world hears them.
That's it for our deep dive into iHeart Veterans. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.